I was looking online at my favorite website where I can find free stuff being given away, and that's when I happened to find an ad for this free mower. It's always surprising when I find a decent looking mower being given away, but that got me a bit worried as to the reason why they would even do it. I guess my only choice is to try and repair it to find that out, but hopefully we can get it running, otherwise I'll be wasting my time trying to fix someone else's junk. In today's video, we're going to be looking at this Troy-Bilt branded lawnmower, and the problem is that I just picked it up and I'm not really sure what's wrong with it. Now, picking up something that is being given away is always risky because they may know the exact issue it's having, but they're unwilling to tell you about it. Although I do believe they were hoping that it was only going to be used for parts, well, I plan to prove them wrong. Now, I'm going to try and repair this mower, but yours might be a little different, so this might not work on yours. So if things are not working out for you, like in the video, please ask about it and I'll be glad to answer your questions. So first off, after having cleaned this mower, I am absolutely amazed at its condition. I barely see any wear marks on it. It's as though they barely used it for a season or two and then just left it in storage, which is simply amazing. Now, the first thing that I want to do is to make sure if there's any gasoline in the tank, and also more importantly, if there's any oil in the engine, and if it's low, I'll add a few ounces until there's plenty on the dipstick. So it would seem there's plenty of fuel in the tank and even oil in the engine, which is quite strange. I mean, it looks as though someone was taking really good care of this machine, so why would they give it away? Now, the only thing left to do would be to open the fuel valve and try starting it. Now, if the mower starts up, this is going to be one very quick video, but at least it'll be easy money. So of course it wouldn't be that easy. Now we need to find out if this engine will even start and run, otherwise we could be wasting our time working on it. Now since this engine has an auto choking system on it, I'm going to prime the engine, and if it starts and runs for a second, then we know we either have a fuel issue or a carb issue. But if it doesn't do anything, it could mean we have a serious problem with the engine. So the good news is that the engine started and ran for a few seconds, but the bad news is that it didn't stay running, which means we'll need to drain out the gasoline from the tank and look to see if it's stale or has any water in it. And of course, if that's good, we'll need to look at the carb. There's also a very familiar issue with the recoil. As you can see, the recoil works, but it's not working like it should. It's slow to return the rope back onto the pulley, which seems to happen a lot on Honda engines over time, but luckily the fix for it is really simple to do, although you can make it very difficult if you want to. All you need to do to fix this is to remove the recoil from the engine and clean the spring. Now, a long time ago, I used to take the spring out of it and clean it, but as I've gotten older, I found other ways to clean the spring. Now for this one, all you need is a can of brake cleaner, and what you're going to do is to spray the cleaner in the spring area and then work the recoil, and depending upon how bad the spring is, you might have to do this a few times. I think I ended up spraying the spring at least 2 times to clean it and used the 3rd time to flush out the dirt. After that, you may want to spray some lube on the spring, but that's up to you. After cleaning the recoil, it now works much better, so I'm going to reinstall it back onto the engine. And just to let you know, this method is 10 times faster than the old way. Now, if yours is really bad, you might have to keep doing it more times than I did, and you might have to check on it the next day just to make sure it's going to work. But if it doesn't work, you'll have to take the spring out and clean it, which is something you don't want to do. Once back on the engine, you can see it's now working just like it should. Now this one wasn't all that bad, so I don't think I have to worry about this issue coming back anytime soon. Now at this point, we can now move on to draining the fuel from the tank, and if you're curious, I'm just using a gravity siphon to drain the tank out, but if you have a fancy fuel pump, that'll work even better. Now once in a glass jar, it's much easier to examine its color, which is what I use to help determine just how old this gasoline really is, and this one is telling me a lot. What it's saying is that this gasoline is very old. By the color, I'd say it was well over a year old, but at least there's no water in it. Now technically this gasoline is no good, but I'm going to show you that it's still going to work even in a small engine, so when we get done with the carb, I'm going to put that fuel back into the tank and try running the engine off of it. The next thing I want to do is to remove the bolt at the bottom of the bowl and drain as much fuel from it as possible. This will also give me a chance to see if the fuel in the carb looks different from the stuff that was in the tank. But after watching for any water beads to come down the rubber mat, I don't see any water in it, and on top of that, the fuel that was in the carb looks to be the same color as the stuff that was in the tank. That means more than likely the carb is the only thing keeping this engine from starting. Now I'm removing the air filter base only because it'll make filming a lot easier, but to be honest, I was not planning on taking off the carb until I see just how bad the fuel bowl looks. Now, if the fuel bowl looks terrible, I'll then remove the carb for a full cleaning, but if it's mostly clean, I'm just going to give it the most minor of cleanings and that should be good enough. Of course, my luck isn't the best, so hopefully this won't backfire on me. Even after removing the bowl nut, it seemed kind of stuck to the carb, so being rather impatient, I decided to delicately use the biggest pliers I had to remove it, but to my surprise, the bowl looks great. So based on how clean the bowl was, I am not going to take the carb the rest of the way off the engine and just make sure the fuel jet is cleared by using my wire to clear it. Now this is not the best way to do it, but on hindsight, I'd probably recommend that you take the carb off for a full cleaning. Now, after making sure the float was not stuck, I'm going to switch gears for a second. Now, looking back, I had to check that my sequence of clips was correct, and it turns out for some reason, I just decided to start servicing the wheels. I'm not sure why I changed gears, but at this point, I'm not going to question it. Now, if I recall, this mower was a real pain to push around the yard. I wasn't sure if it was one of the wheels that was stuck to the axle or if it was the drive system that was causing it, but if I had to guess, I apparently didn't want to wait until the end of the carb cleaning to find out. Now, the back wheel did spin somewhat, but it wasn't as good as it should have been. I don't think it was the cause of our issue, however, after the cleaning, it's now much better. That only leaves the front wheels, which on this model are the drive wheels, as the culprit. Now, I'm not sure why, but most times when a mower is difficult to push, it's typically the drive wheels that are at fault. Now, this front wheel didn't seem to be all that bad, so it must have been the other wheel that was having issues, but I'm going to show you the cleaning process on this one. Next time, I'll have to remember to spin both wheels first and then film the one that was the worst. Now, the process is pretty much the same as the back wheel. Spray brake cleaner on the axle, wipe it clean as needed, and then apply your choice of lubricants. I'm using lithium grease, but almost any kind will be better than nothing at all. The only difference between the non-driven wheels and these wheels is having to spray lube around the drive axle, but after doing that, it should now be much easier to spin the drive gear than before. I know that servicing your wheels so that it spins a lot better doesn't sound all that important, but there's nothing worse than getting that one shopping cart at the grocery store that has a bad wheel. Now, when that shopping cart is empty, it's not really a big issue, but by the end of your shopping and your cart has about 50 to 100 pounds of stuff in it and one of the wheels is fighting you, it's not going to be fun. Now, your mower could weigh about the same depending upon how big the mowing deck is and which engine you have on it. So when one of its wheels or all of them have issues spinning, mowing your lawn just got a bit tougher to do. So the idea of having all your wheels spinning with little to no effort certainly sounds a lot more meaningful now. So after getting the bowl and bowl nut back onto the carb, it's time to put everything back onto the engine, and to be quite honest, this is the part I don't look forward to. There are a lot of things that you need to line up with the bolts, and if you miss something, it could cause the engine to not start. Now, there are ways to get around having to try to stab everything like this, but at this point, I've just gotten used to doing it the hard way. It's not really all that hard, it's just a bit tricky. Now, once the bolts are tight, the only thing left to do is to put the old gasoline back into the tank and then turn on the fuel valve. Now, this is when things can go wrong. Since we opened the carb, we need to make sure the carb is not going to leak fuel, because if it does, we could have a possible fire hazard on our hands, which is something you do not want to deal with. Now, once the fuel valve is open, you'll have to be patient. The leak can happen within a few seconds, or it could take a few minutes. Now, the more time that goes by, the better, and by the third minute, I don't see any fuel dripping from the intake of the carb or from the bottom of the carb. Once I know that it's not leaking, I'll then work on the air filter. Now, these filters are pretty easy to clean, and only when it gets soaked with oil or gasoline will it be ruined. Now, to clean these, all you have to do is tap them on the ground or on the wall, and almost all of the dirt will fall right out of it. Now, you can use compressed air if you want to, but be very careful not to use a lot of pressure. 20 to 30 psi should be fine, otherwise you could damage the paper element. Once the mower is back on the ground, the first thing I want to do is to check the pulling force, and hopefully we didn't just waste our time, but so far I haven't been disappointed yet. On our first pull, we got a reading of 1.72 kilograms, which is extremely good for a self-propelled mower. Typically, I would consider a reading of 2 to 2.5 kilograms to be the acceptable range for this type of mower. But after a second attempt, we got an astonishing reading of 1.4 kilograms, which is even better than most regular push mowers get, so needless to say, I'm very happy with the results of the wheel servicing. Now, just for a point of comparison, I happen to have that Craftsman mower that I rebuilt with used parts. I brought it out because I'm going to show you what a difficult mower to push looks like when using the meter. The funny part is that the mowers are virtually the same when it comes to the mowing deck and the drive systems, so you would think that they would be very close in readings, but as you can see, the Craftsman needs a lot more force to get it to move. Now, at this point, I have not serviced the wheels on the Craftsman yet, but if you want to see what kind of readings you get after servicing, there should be a link at the top of the screen. Now, so far, the best I've gotten is 2.9 kilograms, and this is more than it should be. Now that we got the wheels taken care of, let's see what happens when we try and start the Troy-Bilt. So at first things were going great, but after a minute of running, it started to act as though it was running out of fuel. Now a gas cap that wasn't venting properly would do this, but as you just saw, after taking off the cap, it didn't help, so that's not the issue here. And if you didn't think that was weird enough, this is when we find yet another issue. Now the engine is still hot. It's only been a few minutes since I shut it down, and of course the fuel valve is still in the open position, but when I tried to restart it to see if it was still acting the same way, it now won't start. Now, I received a lot of great comments about this one and some not so great, but most wanted me to check that the choke flap was still in the open position, which it's supposed to be in when the engine is hot. And as you can see, after taking off the air filter cover and the filter, the choke flap is indeed in the open position just like it's supposed to be. Now, the choke flap is only closed once the engine has cooled down somewhat, which I did check later on, and it was closed just like it should have been, which means the thermostat is working and is not stuck. Now, let's try that again and see what happens. Well, at first I thought it was going to start, but after a few more pulls, that hope went away pretty quickly. So as you just saw, it will not start when hot, which means I can't even confirm that we have a running issue, which showed up about 2 minutes after starting it. Now at this point, I'm kind of at a loss as to what's wrong with this mower. Now more than likely the carb is the issue, but if it was, then why would it start normally and then run well for a few minutes only to have a running issue? Shouldn't it have been running poorly from the beginning? Now I do have a few ideas as to why this mower was given away. First off, the simple answer is they ended up hiring a lawn mowing service and just gave this one away. The other possibility is that the issue I'm seeing right now was the issue it's always had, and at some point they didn't want to deal with it and instead just bought a new mower and then gave this one away. It's unfortunate, but the problems this mower is having is now my responsibility to fix, otherwise I won't be able to sell it and I'll have to live with it. So my question is, what do you think's wrong with this mower? A bad ignition coil, a choke problem, the gasoline, a valve lash issue, or should I just clean or replace the carb entirely? Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate your time here. Please feel free to ask me any questions about this project or about your own projects, and I hope to see you in the next video.